I'm Jason Silvernagel, dealer agent in the Aberdeen office, and today we're going to be talking about changes to the odometer disclosure statements. Odometer statements. Federal and state regulations require odometer statements on motor vehicle transactions unless otherwise exempted. On South Dakota titles issued after January 1st of 91, the odometer disclosure statement, which complies with federal state regulations, is on the assignment of the certificate of title. To comply with federal and state odometer requirements, you need to get the hand-printed name of the buyer and the seller, the handwritten signature of the buyer and the seller, the address of the buyer and the seller, the date of sale, the odometer reading, odometer indicators marking actual miles, not actual miles, exceeds mechanical limits, and a complete description of the vehicle. Odometer statements on leases. Leasing companies are required to follow the same criteria. However, they must complete a federal odometer disclosure form for the leased vehicles, which directly relates to the lessor and lessee. This form is retained by the lessor. Odometer statements are required if a title on a vehicle is less than 20 years old, as of December 31st, 2020, is submitted without an odometer reading. The last owner or seller will be required to disclose the odometer reading to the buyer, and the odometer reading will be entered on the new title. Titles or MSOs are not returned if the odometer or signature is missing on them. On a qualifying vehicle involving a secure dealer reassignment form or a secure power of attorney form is required. Some exemptions to the federal odometer rule are vehicles that have a shipping weight or gross vehicle weight rating of more than 16,000 pounds, a vehicle that is not self-propelled, trailers, mobile homes, and the recent change is if the vehicle is 20 or more years old, it is now required to have an odometer reading when it was previously 10 or more years old. A vehicle sold directly by the manufacturer to any agency of the U.S. in conformity with contractual specifications is exempt. An MSO transfer between dealers, the federal odometer is not required until the first sale of that vehicle, and there's no odometer requirement for snowmobiles. South Dakota Codified Law 32.3.30.1 says odometer information is required to be put on the certificate of title. Falsification of that information is a felony, and under the new requirements, it's going to be any vehicle that is 20 years old or newer is going to be required to have the odometer reading if it's not previously marked as exempt, and the department may refuse to transfer that title or issue a new title if the information is not completed when it is required. This may cause delays in processing your titles, so it's important to make sure all your information is there. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is amending the mileage disclosure exemption to vehicles that are 20 years old and older. Previously, this exemption applied to vehicles that were 10 years old and older, and the new rule is set to take effect on December 31st, 2020. The NHTSA introduced this new rule because the current average vehicle age is almost 12 years, and there's a heightened risk of odometer fraud. To accommodate older vehicles, the final rule will require odometer disclosures until the vehicles are 20 years old or older. Now we're going to run through a few different scenarios and how they would be handled. Scenario 1. I purchased a vehicle on December 30th, 2020. It is a 2010 model year. Does the vehicle qualify for the odometer disclosure exemption? Yes, the current 10-year and older odometer rule applies until December 31st, 2020. We will evaluate the qualifications for the odometer disclosure exemption based on the purchase date of the vehicle. Scenario 2. If the vehicle is a 2011 model year and purchased after January 1st, 2021, Is the odometer required? Yes, the odometer is required on this vehicle until the year 2031. This new ruling from the NHTSA requires odometer readings on vehicles that are 20 years old or newer. Scenario 3. I purchased a vehicle in January 2021. The vehicle is a 2009 model year and was previously marked exempt. Can I add the odometer reading going forward? The answer is no. Vehicles that are previously marked exempt under the old odometer rule will remain exempt going forward. Scenario 4. I purchased a 2010 model year vehicle in November of 2020, but I didn't transfer the title until January of 2021. Does this fall under the previous odometer disclosure exemption rule? Yes. When evaluating the odometer disclosure statement qualifications, the date of purchase is what will be considered. Scenario 5. I purchased a 2011 model year vehicle in January 2021, but the odometer chain was broken. Can I submit a picture of the odometer and add mileage to the title? No. Since the odometer chain is broken and the vehicle does not qualify for exempt odometer, the title applicant will need to obtain the odometer reading from the seller. And Scenario 6. I purchased a 2008 model year vehicle that previously had the odometer reading listed. After January 1st, 2021, if I sell that vehicle, is the odometer reading required? Yes, we will carry forward actual readings on vehicles if the mileage is on the current title. If you have any questions about the changes to the odometer requirements, you can contact your dealer agent or you can email us at dealerprogram@state.sd.us.